Hello, St. Stephen's Classical Academy. We have Addie and I here this morning, kicking off our Spirit Week. And as you can see, we're in our black and gold. Go Pittsburgh. I know we're all really excited to have meetings with our classes today and see all your black and gold. I'm here to start a book with you today, and we'll be reading, I think, 2 books like this week. So we're going to focus on reading nonfiction this week. So I am going to read to you today, or start to read to you today, the story of Joseph. And the author is Brian Wildsmith. And these are really beautiful books. The illustrations are incredible. I'll do my best to show you some of them. But this is the story of Joseph from the Bible. So this is nonfiction. This is a true story. And I can't wait to see you all later on in your black and gold. Here we go with the story of Joseph. Joseph was Jacob's favorite son. Jacob gave Joseph a coat of many colors to show him how much he loved him. Joseph's 11 brothers knew that he was the favorite, and they hated him for it. One night, Joseph had a dream. "Listen," he said to his brothers, "I dreamt that we were all in the field binding sheaves of grain. My sheaf stood upright, and all your sheaves bowed down to it." The next night, he had another dream. "Listen," he said, "I dreamt that the sun and the moon and 11 stars all bowed down to me." Now his brothers hated him even more. "He thinks he's better than us," they said. And here is a picture of Joseph getting the beautiful coat from his father. You want to read a page?
Okay.
Addie's going to read some to you.
One day, Jacob sent Joseph to visit his brothers, who were looking after their flocks. His brothers saw him coming. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. They plotted to kill him. But Reuben, the eldest, stopped them, shouting, "No! We can't murder our own brother." So, when Joseph arrived, they threw him into a pit instead. But first they ripped his cloak of many colors.
Soon, a caravan of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. The brothers pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver. Then they smeared Joseph's coat with goat's blood and took it to their father. "It is Joseph's robe," Jacob said. "A wild beast has torn him to pieces." Jacob was stricken with grief. He wept for many days, and no one could comfort him. Want to do it?
Yeah, what does that say?
Meanwhile.
Meanwhile, the traders took Joseph down to Egypt and sold him to the slave market
to Potiphar.
To Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard.
Good. And look at this. So he's been brought to Egypt. You can see the hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. Joseph worked so hard for his master that eventually Potiphar put him in charge of all his affairs. By this time, Joseph had grown into a strong and handsome man. Potiphar's wife fell in love with him, and one day she caught Joseph by his cloak and begged him to return her love. But Joseph refused. "How can I betray my master and my God?" he asked her. Potiphar's wife was furious. She rushed to her husband and accused Joseph of attacking her. Potiphar believed his wife's story and had Joseph thrown into prison.
No.
I know. You want to try this page?
Sure.
Okay.
But God was with Joseph in prison. Soon the prison
warden
put him in charge of all the prisoners. One day, according to Pharaoh's orders, two new prisoners arrived. The royal butler and the royal baker. One night, after they both had troubling dreams, they asked Joseph to explain their dreams to them. The butler, he said, "In 3 days." Oh wait, no.
You got it.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
Oh.
To the butler, he said,
In 3 days you will be called to the palace to be given your old job back. To old job of the butler. When this happens, please remember me and ask Pharaoh to set me free. But to the baker he said, in 3 days you two will be called back to the palace, but there you will be put to death.
Oh man. 3 days later, it was Pharaoh's birthday. And as Joseph had foretold, the butler was restored to Pharaoh's service, and the baker was put to death. But the butler did not remember Joseph. He forgot all about him. It was 2 years later when Pharaoh himself had disturbing dreams. In the first dream, he was standing by the river Nile when he saw 7 fat cows come out of the river. 7 thin cows followed and ate up the fat cows, and then Pharaoh woke up. He went back to sleep and dreamed again. This time, he saw 7 fat ears of grain growing on one stalk. Then 7 thin ears of grain sprouted up and swallowed the 7 fat ears. When morning came, Pharaoh was very troubled. He sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt, but none of them could explain the dreams. Then the butler remembered Joseph and went to see the Pharaoh. Look at this picture. Here we see the Pharaoh sleeping in his bed having those dreams. Okay, Addie.
Okay. Pharaoh ordered Joseph to be brought out of prison. And he told Joseph his dreams. God has revealed what he is about to do, Joseph said. Both dreams are saying the same thing. There will be 7 years of rich harvests, followed by 7 years of famine. You must act at once. Appoint a wise man to collect 1/5 of all grain grown during the 7 rich years, in store for the time when the grain grown during the
Store it for the time when
the famine comes.
You're good.
Pharaoh replied, "Since God has revealed all this to you, it is clear that you are the man we need." So Joseph was made governor of all Egypt, second in power only to Pharaoh himself.
Wow, that
kind
is
of hard to read.
Big. You did a great job. That's a big turn of events, right? From jail to being second in power only to Pharaoh himself. An incredible story of Joseph.
It reminds me of another book.
What book?
It's a Bible Bell series. It's a really good book.
Oh, yes.
And there's a queen who gets fired, and then another queen comes.
Addie's making connections. We've talked about that. Great.
Oh, yeah.
That's a text-to-text connection. Good. We're going to stop there for today. This is not the end of the story of Joseph. You will hear the rest of the story of Joseph tomorrow. So thanks for joining Addie and I today.
Bye. Bye, friends.